Hi, I'm Noelle, the host of Pop Punk and Pizza. Do you have a favorite kind of pizza?
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I like the margarita. Well, I like
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Because back in Italy, that's how it started off. The simpler it is, you get the textures and the flavours of the food, you know. Yeah. You start putting fucking sweet corn pepper
Sometimes
on
it's too much.
You know, you don't know what you're tasting. You get assaulted by all these flavours and things. Instead of, hopefully, if you get good pizza, tasting the loveliness of the bread, you know, the dough, the tomato, and the cheese, and it's very simple, you know. It's not complicated, and it's beautiful, you know. When you start putting everything on it, you don't know what the fucking hell it is, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, you're missing the point of, like, it's bread with cheese and tomato, you know. And if you get the right one, it's lovely. Maybe a couple of mushrooms here and there, you know, if you want to really let your hair down. But you know, it's like life, you know, you've got to simplify life. Life's very complicated. Why make your pizza complicated? You know?
Yeah. Wow, that's the best answer I've ever gotten. Right. Yeah. When I asked. The last time you played at Riot Fest was in 2014. So what made you decide to play again this year?
We loved it last time, and we loved it this time, you know. We played an after show last night, and just amazing the crowd know all the songs, you know. I mean, Buzzcocks have been coming to America for a long, you know, every number of years we come, and they know the songs, most of them. So you can feel that vibe, you know. And the vibe in the room yesterday was amazing, and the same today on the stage, you know. Yeah. So it's exciting. I mean, we started off with the Sex Pistols and the Clash, very punky. Yeah. But we, you know, the Clash had their own style and Buzzcocks had their own style. Right. But we're all brothers in arms, you know. Yeah. But I think Buzzcocks have got a sensitivity in the songs and a bit of rock and roll, you know. We're talking like the human condition. It's like we're talking to you, you know. We're communicating a little bit. And I think that's important, really. Yeah, for sure. Touching people's souls and that kind of thing. Yeah, and it's very important. Rather than just going, oh, fuck you and all that fucking shit, you know. Yeah. Bands need to craft, some of these bands need to craft more tunes and stuff, I think, a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I do think it's important to communicate with the crowd and, you know, interact with them. I think it makes the show a lot more fun.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, when I was a kid, when I started, when I was 20, it was like a little bit political, a little bit angst-ridden and all that kind of stuff, and intense. But as the band grows and you get older and stuff, it's got to be more of an event. And like you say, communicating with the audience. Because when I go there, when I was 20, it was like, give a fuck what you think. It's all, you know, it's all about this attack thing. But I learned the thing of like, there's people out there like me. I'm just the same, and that communication's great. I think important, you know. Yeah. So I kind of learned that over the years. It's like I've been playing to loads of audiences, millions of them over the years, and it's so important to like bring the audience in and kind of go like, it's all okay, you know. It's not like the band and the audience are separate, you know. It's like, let's share this moment in the holy church of rock and roll. Right. Because normally do an hour and a half, and it's kind of like, tomorrow you're going to be paying your fucking bills, you've got problems, you've got things you've got to work out in life. Sure. But for this moment, let's just feel that. And there is things in the music, you know. I do say my political punk rock soliloquy in harmony in my head, I take out. You know, tall gas buildings make you feel that small, you know, that impersonal thing. That's happening in every town, you know. These things come up and you're like, you feel lost in your own town sometimes. Things like that. So I put a bit of that in, but it's not that direct politics, the obvious politics. It's not for me to say, like, oh, the government's wrong. Everybody knows that kind of thing. I try to talk like a book, right? Observation things. Take your feet off the table, no parking, and that kind of, you know, little things you see on the way. So that's the little political bit in it, but then it's the tunes, the songs, and the vibe. and the human condition, and that stuff in here, that philosopher's all about.
Yeah.
Because with Buzzcocks, we said, well, me personally, and Pete, when he was here, you know, we was trying to figure out that stuff in there, the intellectual thing, the art thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was very important in the punk rock thing, you know. It's like self-realization and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And many fans, you talk to them, you can have that exchange, you know. As well as the rock and roll, there should be some intellectual thought going as well, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not just like some dumbass thing, you know. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with Bob Dylan and the Beatles and Stone, all that. So that kind of stuff as well. I was a kid in the 60s, and then the punk rock took it to another level, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I noticed at this show you play, along with new tracks from Sonics and the Soul, you did play a lot of classic tracks. So are there some songs where you always have fun playing them on stage? And are there any tracks you played today, whether your new favorites or all-time favorites to play live?
Yeah, we played this song Destination Zero.
Yeah.
Where I go, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's developed on the road. The thing was in Germany, and the crowd were doing it to me. So like, I'll sell that back to them.
Yeah.
But it was a good vibe, and it's like, so now, and the Destination Zero song, which was the first thing recorded post Pete. The A-side was Gotta Get Better, and I like the B-side. We forgot to tell the record company which way round, but that kind of thing, that audience interaction, it's like vibes it up. So I kind of like that at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
And when we've been doing the shows, we've been doing about 4 or 5 songs of Sonics in the Soul, which have been received very well, you know, because we've got the Ever Fallen Loves, the Harmony in My Head, What Do I Get, Promises. People know that. Yeah. But I'm thinking like, you know, a lot of people that have been excited going, fuck, the new songs fitting with the old songs, and you know, it's still moving on, you know.
Yeah.
Don't want to be an act that goes, oh, you remember the fucking past, you know.
Yeah.
But you've got to have the past. You learn from these. You've got to have the past to move on, you know.
Right.
And the great things, the fans all around the world have been moving on with us and going, there's a song called Bad Dreams, we didn't have time to play today, but they're loving that song. And you know, it's a bit of new lifeblood in the band when you do the new songs. And there's a couple of videos on the internet that they go, oh, this new songs, you know.
Yeah.
There's still life in this, and the train or the bus is still rolling, you know. And I think that's exciting, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any new bands that you've been listening to recently that you would recommend?
Well, I kind of like the Fontaines DC a bit, you know.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
They've got some moments, you know. I don't know where they're going to go with that, but I went to see them, and they're all right, yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
But my neighbour's Liam Gallagher, and the Oasis are getting back. Yeah. So I've been listening to a bit of Oasis again, and all that. But they're not a new band, but whoever was on before these, I don't know what, there was like a girl singing, sounded a bit like Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, she did. I was thinking the same thing. I think it was
a little bit of Bjork or something.
Yeah.
She sounded great. I don't know who they are, but I'm going to check them out. Man.
I think that was Sir Chloe. I think it was Sir Chloe. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sir Chloe.
Sir Chloe.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Sir Chloe, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check them out because, you know, completely opposite of what we do. But I mean, it's kind of, I get it, you know.
Yeah, they're different but good in their own ways.
Absolutely. That's what's great, you know, playing a festival like this and you hear something that you never heard, you know, you never heard the band or whatever. And that's the magic of festivals and stuff like that.
That's one of the things I like about festivals is you can walk around and see a bunch of bands that you wouldn't know of otherwise, and you can discover bands that way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because really, I do find at the moment you're kind of looking for like some new band, some fucking kids that are going to tear it up like we did in the old days, like along with the Sex Pistols. it's got to be one of them, but they've got to have the songs, the attitude and the thing, and I haven't seen one of them yet, really.
Yeah.
You know, some new one that's like, fuck, you know, this is like the new whatever, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of bands that are doing cool, different things.
I can feel it coming because we had all the MTV thing in the 80s. Suddenly it's like a girl lap dancing or dancing to computer music. What's heartening is a lot of young girls and guys are coming to our gigs, checking them, you know. And I'm used to, you know, playing with a guitar now. But I'm thinking some of them are seeing guitars and, you know, you can make a mistake if you want or go crazy. And I'm thinking, they're witnessing that for the first time now, which is a lovely thing. I think all that computer stuff, which was great in the 80s, and there's still moments, but it's a lot of it homogenised now. Even the dance, even the rap music is like, Public Enemy and NWA were great and all that. But a lot of it now you've heard before, you know, it's like, oh fuck, it's not that drastic anymore, you know.
I would recommend 21 Pilots. I don't know if you would like them, but they're like a newer band, and their live show is the best live show I've ever seen. Like, they do so many cool things, and even though they're just two guys, like, their performance is so impressive, and like, they really interact with the crowd, like you were mentioning earlier, which is important. And
you can tell when some bands kind of got it, and they might be playing a bar or something, or whatever at that moment, and then it's like they've got something, you know what I mean? They know that. And I'm sure it is, like I said, at the end of the 80s, you know, Nirvana came and, you know, we did their last tour with them, and we just kind of got back together because we had the hiatus of doing our solo things. And you feel then like guitars are back, you know. And I do feel now that there's a lot going on, like you're saying. In the chaos of it, there's going to be some sense of it. It's like, fuck, this is a new thing now, you know. Which will be great, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And the great thing is, we meet so many bands, young bands, that go, we used to listen to Buzzcocks, we listen to Buzzcocks, man, you know, and all that stuff. It's a great honour, eh? And if that is like, inspires them to go take some of that away and take it somewhere else, that's a great thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really cool thing when
I have a question. I saw this one interview you did with John Reed for Cherry Red Records, and you mentioned listening to old demos about like some songs you forgot you'd written. Have you ever revisited a demo and decided to re-record that for an album?
We did put some stuff out on Cherry Red, a lot of demos. There was one for like Record Store Day, and there was some great songs on that. I can't remember what the album's called now, but it was a final album for Record Store Day, and it probably went on for a little bit. There's a picture of me on the cover and Pete in the back, like a close-up. I'm only saying that so you can kind of identify. I can't remember what even the album's called right now, but there was some fucking great demos. Well, they were like finished things. But what we used to do, we'd like record an album's worth of material, and there'd be a couple of songs left over, and we're like, oh, we'll use them again. And then over the years, it's like in the studios, there's been demos left everywhere. Because when you do a new album, it's like having a new girlfriend. It's like, got these new songs now. She or he was in the past, you know. And then we found quite a few. I was like, fuck, they should have been on albums, you know. But if you look on Cherry Red, they'll be there. I have found a couple of cassettes. Hopefully I can find them again, because I've got every cassette I ever bought. I never threw them away, you know. When the CD came in, and I love CDs now, but and I love vinyl, but every demo and every band or artist, I've still got all the cassettes, you know. And but I found a few, and Sunday when Pete died, I found this cassette, and there's a couple of songs of his on there and a couple of songs of mine. I'm like, what the fuck's this? You know? So I'm going to try and, you know, find them, because we always thought he never left anything in the can, really. But that album, if I knew the name of it, it is on Cherry Red, and that's got some fantastic songs on it. I'm like, what the fuck? That should be. I think it was a limited edition for Record Store Day, but there's probably a lot of Buzzcocks fans don't know that album because it kind of came and went, you know. It was like just a celebration of that day. But when I listened to it, I thought, fuck, how did we leave all that behind over the years, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully this stuff, and I'll still look for other stuff if we can.
Yeah. Cool. And I know you published your autobiography, Autonomy: Portrait of a Buzzcock, in 2022. Do you think the book is a comprehensive account of your life in the band?
It's one aspect of my life, I think. You know, it's kind of, you know, it's the growing up as a kid and the hard times and all that, and then suddenly end up in the band. Like a human. The guy that wrote it is like a story of survival.
Yeah.
So there's that. So you get to know a bit about my life and the struggles and the things and all that, you know. Yeah. So I was thinking, like, very complicated this, but back in Britain in the old days, I mean, when I was at school, they say, you know, the blues comes from the cotton fields, the singing and all that, and I get that. But we had cotton mills where kids, you know, used to work, 12-year-olds, used to work in these cotton factories, you know, and they'd be working 18 hours a day and stuff and falling asleep in the corner and up to work. I don't think, in some ways, that was our Manchester blues. We didn't do that, but we come from a strain of that development, you know.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, really, we're kind of white trash Manchester blues when we started off, you know. You know, we had no money, no nothing, you know, like everybody. But that's the great story, you know. If you had money and everything's good at the beginning, you're going nowhere. Picasso never had any money at the beginning, and you know, all great writers and that kind of stuff.
When they started out, they came from nothing.
So it all comes from nothing, and I think that's important, you know, because you have to start thinking, you know. And I used to read a lot of philosophy books when I was a kid, thinking, what is this stuff inside, you know, and all that. So I like to think that comes through the music as well.
Yeah.
Well, kind of thing that, you know, that self-realization, Kierkegaard realization. I started reading loads of books when I was a kid before I got. Every time I bought a single, I bought a book, you know. And I'll pass that on to anybody in the band or anybody in the audience, you know. Yeah. Buy a single and buy a book, you know. And I think that was very important for me, and I think very important for anybody, you know. And it's a great grounding. And then when you haven't got any money or any hardship, you've got insight into things, you know. Suddenly we make fucking money, and then it's, well, you know, but it's immaterial to the art, if you saw me.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question about your songwriting process.
Sure.
I know with Buzzcocks you briefly played bass before you switched to guitar. So which instrument do you usually start writing with?
Well, I phoned a guy at a paper. My dad stole a guitar off a van, right?
Oh.
I said, you never sent me to Oxford or Cambridge or, you know, Yale University or something. Yeah. But you nicked a bass guitar. So I had a guitar, but in the local paper it said, like, you know, bass players and drummers wanted. So I need to meet someone. So that's where I met the other guys, Pete and Howard. And but I wasn't really a bass player. So.
Okay, yeah.
But the great thing on Spiral Scratch, our first thing, because I played root notes and a couple of little things, on that bottom end it gave it identity. If I was a good bass player, it would have fucking ruined Spiral Scratch, boredom and all that. It would have been too nice, you know. But I listen to it now, I think, fuck, the fact that I couldn't fucking play it properly, you know, because I have no guitar. So I only did 10 shows with the bass, and we moved out of guitar. And that's what came the classic lineup and the more less jerky but more pop element, you know. So mainly I write on the guitar really.
Okay.
And a little bit on the piano sometimes, you know.
All right.
But only like messing about, you know. But also, later on, you tend to write a lot in your head after a while. Sometimes you kind of, once you get the hang of it, because when you're young, you're working in the dark, making all these chords and opening this. Yeah. I mean, I studied music to grade 5 at some night college, and it went up to grade 8. But a friend of mine showed me a heroin addict showed me some chords, blood splattering out. I was like, fuck, you know. Here's my introduction to playing the Beatles and stuff. Yeah. I thought, I've learned all this, you know, the writing things on the stage. And this guy just showed me these chords. And I thought Jimi Hendrix had feedback and the Beatles had chords. So I left the theory of music behind there, and I was like, so the free form and the feel and the thinking, and also the sound of words. I think I was always good with words at school, you know. I wasn't a great student, but I like the sound of words, you know. Yeah. And it was that. So if you got a kind of word in your head and stuff, and quite often walking about in the streets and stuff, things come into your mind and words and phrases, that kind of thing. And it's like, and it gets a bit of motives. So rather than sit down with a cold piece of paper going, I'm going to write a song. Yeah. But there is an element that I've learned over the years of self-belief, you know. Like kidding yourself, like, well, kind of like when it's like, oh, you've got an album to do, and it's like, oh, we've got a couple of weeks to write the songs. And you think, fuck, I'm going to write the first one. You write the first one, it's like, I'll do another one now. And suddenly it's like, sure, I'm going to do it. And somehow it kind of takes over sometimes. Yeah. And then there's other times it's like you put the coffee in a percolator, it's percolating for days. So I'm walking around for 3 days in a trance.
Yeah.
And then I might be at a supermarket paying the bill, and I'm going, fuck, that's the fucking chorus. And the lady's going, that'll be, you know, $20. And I'm like, I've just had Rika moment, I've got to get back home, you know. Yeah. Rather than sat there going, but that kind of self-belief thing, you know, I've got to write these songs, so I better get on with it, you know. And I think that does happen as well, you know. And then there's also the importance of writing a song of what it's about. So that song I was saying earlier on Sonics in the Soul, Bad Dreams, it was written during COVID, so yeah, COVID was all a bad dream, you know. But I didn't want to make it obviously about COVID, but we were all going through this bad dream for 2 years going, you can't go. And I thought, you know, we all have these bad dreams, and also they do end, you know, because I sometimes say on the stage, you know. But so I thought, what a great thing to write a song called Bad Dreams about dreams, you know. Yeah. You ever had a dream, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit obvious, but nice, but it had a really shuggy avant-garde thing, you know.
Yeah. What were some of the struggles recording Sonics in the Soul during the pandemic?
Well, I didn't record, I wrote it in the pandemic, and maybe during the end of it, maybe started to record it. Yeah. But mainly kind of wrote it when you could go in the studio again without a mask, you know. Sort of did it like that. But the interesting with that one as well, normally we write a bunch of songs and then you have to sequence them to make an album. Now with this, I was about 2 or 3 songs in, and I thought, let's make this a journey of a complete album. Like when you buy a book, you read the opening chapter, you've got to get to the end to know what the book's about. And also the experience, the full meal. Because now with like Spotify now, people cherry pick things. Oh, I like that song, but and I'll get a song off here and there, but they're not sitting down and having a whole experience, you know.
I do like when bands have albums where it's kind of like a concept from start to end, and like I like listening to it that way.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do. And even even though I heard that a million times in the studio, you have to give yourself a little space. And when I heard it, I thought, fuck, I've had an experience I hope people have, you know, just from the first song to the end. But I wrote them in sequence. It was like,
Okay.
now we need one of those. We're opening up with about 3 kind of up-tempo ones. Now is the bad news, we're going down. And then we're going up again, kind of like a live gig. But also, it's like, now I need one of them kind of songs. Now I need like this kind of song to make a whole journey. And I think, and that's the first time ever done that. And I think it achieved on that, because when you listen to it, you think, I wonder what's coming next, you know?
Yeah.
And every song I make different, so it's like, you know, what's coming next? It's like, oh, we're on the journey. I mean, I love Ramones. They came to see us in New York, 1978 when we first came up. But the Ramones are all linear, right? You know, once you heard the first album, you've heard them all, you know?
A lot of them do sound very similar.
Right, yeah. And I love them for that. But when they came to see us, they go, you guys, we love you guys. They take you, it's a great comment for us. You take it to other areas, you know. But the Sonics in the Soul is a heavy journey, I think, you know. A nice journey, and it's the first time I've done that. Now, I've just written another album, which hopefully next year. I wrote it in January, and then we've been on tour all year. I thought there'd be a space. So, we haven't got time to record it, so I kind of feel like a pregnant woman with like, you know, because you think, I must remember that on this song, I must remember that one.
Yeah.
Like, I've got all these songs here, and it's like, hold on, there's no time to record it this year, so.
That's exciting.
And the working title, probably the title, is called Attitude Adjustment.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, there's going to be a few changes on this album.
Ooh.
Well, we've got,
Very exciting.
Oh, we've got the classic kind of Buzzcocks things.
Yeah.
But we always, like Why Can't I Touch It and stuff, which was my guitar groove and all that, and like Autonomy used to throw them kind of things in. I want to take Buzzcocks somewhere else as well, you know. But we've still got the kind of bunch of the poppy ones, but put some other stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Me too.
Me too.
And
That sounds awesome.
I call it Attitude Adjustment. It's like, okay, folks, what it says on the tin, it's like, change your fucking mind here, you know what I mean? A little bit. So I think there's going to be some great moments on that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, as David Bowie said, like, you've got to walk in the water, and when your feet leave the ground, that's when you know you're in the danger and artistic zone, you know. And that's what I kind of want to do with it. It's like, it'd be too easy to make an obvious Buzzcocks album.
Yeah.
There's some things. There's a song called Queen of the Scene. You know, all these Big Brother shows that they have where they all get in a room and, you know, then they fall out with each other. So I thought that's an important symptom, and when people come out of those shows, they're famous for the Andy Warhol 15 minutes. Then they have fucking drug problems, you know, and it's like, I'm not famous, I'm only famous for hanging around. I thought that's a modern symptom of things. I just reflect that in this song, Queen of the Scene, you know. Know what I mean? Trying to get to heaven in a suicide machine. They want to be famous just for fucking sitting and talking.
Just to be famous.
Yeah, and all that. And that caused a lot of problems with people that have gone in there. So, and it's a great kind of like promises, what do I get kind of song. And a little bit that kind of way. So I thought that's a good subject for that one. And there's some other ones as well, you know, about being homeless and stuff and all that. You know.
Yeah.
Which is a lovely song, I think, this one, you know.
Yeah.
There's that one. There's loads of others. But I'm trying to get some good subject matter in things. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm really excited for that upcoming.
Me too.
And we were wondering, well, since this is the Pop Punk and Pizza podcast, we usually ask artists what's their favorite kind of pizza, but do you have a favorite kind of pizza?
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I like the margarita. Well, I like
yeah, me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Because back in Italy, that's how he started off. And I try and eat healthy. I might drink, smoke, and do a couple of things that I shouldn't be doing. But, you know, it's like you've got a great thing here, Whole Foods, which we have in Britain now, and I love that. Very important, the food. But also, the simpler it is, you get the textures and the flavours of the food, you know. Yeah. You start putting fucking sweet corn pepper
Sometimes
on
it's
there,
too much.
You know, you don't know what you're tasting. You get assaulted by all these flavours and things. Instead of, hopefully, if you get a good pizza, tasting the loveliness of the bread, you know, the dough, the tomato, and the cheese, and it's very simple, you know. It's not complicated, and it's beautiful, you know. When you start putting everything on it, you don't know what the fucking hell it is, you know.
Yeah.
But also, you're missing the point of, like, it's bread with cheese and tomato, you know. And if you get the right one, it's lovely. Maybe a couple of mushrooms here and there, you know, if you want to really let your hair down. But, you know, it's like life, you know, you've got to simplify life. Life's very complicated. Why make your pizza complicated? You know?
Yeah.
Wow, that's the best answer I've ever gotten when I asked, what's your favorite kind of pizza? That's like some bands, like, you don't have to be complicated to be good. Like, the White Stripes, I love them. They're one of my favorite bands, and they're like more on the simple side, you know, they just have the drums and the guitar.
Chekhov, the writer, said simplicity is everything.
Yeah.
And simplicity is harder to get than the complicated stuff, you know.
Yeah.
When songwriters start out, when you're kids, and I, even including myself, you put a lot of verbose words in. Too wordy, too complicated now. Because you don't know what you're doing, you know, and your approach with life like that, I'll fucking put it all in. But if you can simplify life, then you can get a platform of understanding things. And it's also about communication. And if you can say, like the Chekhov thing, simplicity is everything, in one line, you've nailed it, you know. You don't have to explain all this other stuff sometimes. It's like people understand that, but that's harder to get than going all this other stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes
I'm not saying, I mean, there's a lot of complication in Buzzcocks song, but we didn't set out to do this, but looking back with hindsight, I realised there's a lot of complications within the 3 minutes and the simplification, you know.
Yeah.
Even the guitarist, which is very important. So when I was 16, I had a lot of scooters and stuff. I lost my license. I'm down this acoustic guitar. And I wasn't really playing music there. You know, it's like a $6 guitar it was. Should have been just hung on the wall. But I picked it up and I played Beethoven's Ninth on one string and a little bit on another string. Ode to Joy. I thought, fuck, I could play Beethoven before the Beatles. You know, I've got to learn the Beatles and all that stuff. But because every time I tuned that guitar up, I struck a chord and it went out of tune. So that's why I thought, fuck this, I'll just do this riff thing, you know. And I started doing little riffs, little guitar motifs. So when we started the Buzzcocks, if you're hearing the Buzzcocks songs, there's quite often a little like separate guitar motif, separate from the song, you know. I don't mind, I do a little bit. It's nothing to do with the song, but it complements, and lots of words. But what I'm saying about that is that in the face of adversity, and using your limitations, knowing your limitations well, is better than like pushing yourself.
That's important.
Very important. So a lot of these simple riffs that we do, really, it took me 6 years to, you know, we had a lot of success. But I remember back one day thinking, it came from that guitar. Because the kids down the road from me, the posh kids, their daddies bought them like the posh guitars and stuff. if I'd have had one of them, I wouldn't have come up with them riffs. Just going, oh, this guitar goes out to him. So I'm an advocate of things. When your back's against the wall, you can find things. And I found that which gave us a great identity. Everybody's having nowadays, ding, 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 ding. I couldn't hear what Pete was playing the chords. I was like, fuck that, I'll do that, you know. But those things are key important, you know. So the posh kids, you know, they had the garage with the PA. We couldn't afford that when we started. How are you doing with that guitar? Oh, I sold it and bought a pair of skis. You know? I couldn't get on with a guitar, and so, but you know, we persevered with stuff, you know. So if I'd had a posh guitar at the beginning, I want to learn them things, you know. I'd say Picasso started off with nothing. A lot of writers and all that. I love the story of Jack London, you know, Call of the Wild, White Fang. So I really, I read them as a kid. I read it's got like an autobiography called Martin Eden. So he had a gold mining plot in the Klondike. He's digging for 10 years. Fucking nothing comes up. And then he sells the plot and he goes, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to write a book. So for 10 years he's doing that. He won't have a bath. He like every moment, which I love, you know, very romantic. Every moment's precious. I'm not a writer, but I'm going to make myself a writer. Suddenly gets successful, he's in the literary society, you know, and he hates it. And in the book, the star guy, which I presume him, dives in the river and drowns because he realised he didn't want the, you know, he didn't like what he'd become or what happened to all the people. But the thing about that story was like, when he got famous with the books for the White Fang and the Call of the Wild, the guy that bought the gold prospecting thing, fucking the gold come up and made millions. He sold it, took 10 years to write a fucking book to him. And then he gets the gold. He's come up fucking billion, you know what I mean? So, you know, you can win in life and lose. That's what I thought Paul had to do 10 years of writing. You're going to stop with that golf, you know. That's the way life works out, you know. But when you get to the top of the mountain, it's nothing there. We had a lot of success. All I can say to young bands, when you're in the fucking van and you've got no money and all that, those, and a lot of artists will tell you, those are the best years of your life, aren't they? You get the great years, she's getting older, and you know, the great experience now is a different mode. But I could never get those days back, you know what I mean? You know, but I remember those days, and it's all part of the journey, you know. And wherever you're going, as long as you're still alive, that's the main thing, you know? And that's what I preach on it. You're fucking alive for this moment. Let's just have it. And that's what you remember about, oh, success, you know. I was with Kurt Cobain, he shot himself at the end of the tour, you know. If I know that, I would have gone, Kurt, what the fuck are you doing, mate, you know? And he was asking me about stuff, how you survive for these years, And there was another bloke called Dave Grohl, me and him sat at the back of some stadium drinking a beer, and he said, I've got some songs. I went, oh, fucking drummer, Nirvana, the biggest band in the world. Now the drummer's telling me he's got some songs. I'm like, sure, Dave, you know, I mean, if you told me, I'm saying, you know. But he wasn't fucking wrong, and I love Dave, and I was like, fuck, you know, Foo Fighters, you know. So that was great.
Crazy.
You know, when a drummer from Nirvana says we've got some songs, I'm like, yeah, nice one, Dave. I sure, you know.
That's so funny.
Good luck for that. Next thing, you know, fucking amazing. He turned it around. So even in this case, you know, turning it around like he did is amazing. You know? So I'm all about that, and I think all for what we do. You know, it's things like that. You know, I wrote a song years ago called "Why She's a Girl from a Chainsaw." It won't put any girl down. It's like, you know, it's like a social. When I was doing sociology at school, and like we all done it, it's always a long question, isn't it? What's the social significance of this, that, and the, you know? It's a fuck. Oh, it's a long title. It's well, yeah, but so I thought I'll write a long title on this one. Why She's a Girl from a Chainsaw, you know? Social, and So I put things in it like facing Bernstein's barrier, which was this guy called Bernstein had he wrote this book about the language barrier, where working class people are not used to big words, maybe like ubiquitous or something. You know, used to moan and father going, fuck you or fuck that, you know, or something. So it's not that they've got intelligence, it's just that they're blinded with the big words, so they underachieve, you know. So I thought, back in the day, if I could put that in a song, and somebody goes, some 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid goes, what's Bernstein's language barrier? Oh, I see, you know, a little insight. It's better just putting I love you and you don't love me, you know. So I put things like that in those kind of things, which is kind of something we do with it. But there's a lot of Buzzcocks songs like that as well. You know? Yeah. Sometimes you can sing along with the chorus and not realise, but I think most Buzzcocks fans can get a bit from the words as well, you know, which is important, you know.
Yeah, that is important. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and do you have any? And do you have any final thoughts or statements you wanted to make?
Well, just keep yourself alive, you know.
Yeah.
They've got to have the self-realization of every moment, you know. I think they call it mindfulness now and then. I tried that for a bit, and it's like you've got to realise you're alive and love every moment in some way.
Yeah, I agree.
And I tried that, and then sometimes you forget, you know. But that's all life is, you know. After this, you die. And then the other thing is, so I was in a car accident when I was 17. My best mate died. You're programmed for your grannies, your parents gonna die, you're programmed for that, but not like the James Dean on your block, your friends. So I learned a lesson when I was 17. I thought, now I know the meaning of death. I also know the meaning of life. So I'm gonna live from here on in. And that really, 17, I was in a trance for 2 weeks, but I thought, I know you can die that easy, you know.
Yeah.
So I always remember that, and if it's any good to anybody out there, you're gonna fucking die. As long as you know that, you've got to live right there, right now.
Yeah.
And even if you get depressed, get down. I used to love getting down, like DC divers. I'm depressed for a couple of days, and then when you come up, it's fucking great, you know. If it's one way, Schopenhauer, a German philosopher, said, if we was all happy 24/7, we'd be delirious.
Yeah.
Just, can you imagine?
And you wouldn't appreciate the good moments.
You wouldn't know, you'd be like, yeah, we're all here. It's not you condition.
Yeah.
So when anybody's got a problem and the world's full of it and things and difficulties, just think, if you was happy every fucking moment, we'd all go fucking bad, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So there's some little things, it's like you don't need to be happy all the time. If you get depressed, enjoy it, because on the way up, it's like, what the fuck was I worried about?
Exactly. Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. Like, I'll just be super anxious about something, and then I do it, and then I'm like, oh, what was I so worried about?
Yeah. I mean, I do it myself, you know. I'm like, fuck it up.
Yeah.
What's it all about? What's it? Some bad news somewhere or something. It's like, okay. Enjoy the journey of that, and go inside yourself and fuck.
Gotta live in the now.
No
Yes.
future. Should I end it now? And then all of a sudden you start coming up. It's like, what the fuck was I thinking? This is great, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, the biorhythms, all that. And I'd like to think somewhere in the Buzzcocks music is all right. Passing things on, the human condition, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can fight all them fucking things through the music as well, you know. Chuck Berry told you a lot of things, Little Richard and all that, you know. But that philosophical element, it's like, because many people come and say, the lyrics in the song, I can relate to that, I went through it.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful moment, you can have that exchange.
Yeah, for sure.
But all that things, because so many people have got problems, including myself, it comes to the package of being alive, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, knowing you can get out of that, it's the best thing. Just think, maybe 2 days of this fucking bullshit. But when you go down there, it's like, fuck, and find out who I am. You might hate yourself, you might think, why was I doing this? Why would you punish yourself? And then the other thing is like, when you come up, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? You know well.
I know what you're talking about.
So I'm just thinking that with the music, you know. You've got your fucking bills tomorrow. Your mother might say, tidy your fucking room or something.
Yeah.
That moment of realization in the holy church of rock and roll. That's what I'm doing up there. I'm sharing that moment, you know, with the people there. It's not about me being a fucking rock star.
Yeah.
It's about like, folks, fucking let's feel something, breathe something, and while I'm singing, you know, maybe we can connect, you know.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, Steve Diggle, I want to thank you for sitting down and talking to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I feel like I learned a lot of good life lessons.
Yeah. I've become a life coach now.
Yeah.